Well, good afternoon folks. How the devil are we? It has been ages, hasn't it? So I haven't been on this channel or on a bike since August last year. So I thought I'd have a little ride out and use this opportunity to explain where I've been, what I've been up to, and some updates. Before I start, let me just firstly apologise for this. This is the standard screen on a Yamaha Tracer and it's causing no end of wind noise on the helmet, so I apologise straight away for the amount of wind noise on this video. You will notice that we have got a different view, and this is it. This is our new view. So I am now an owner of a Yamaha Tracer 900, so that is the new steed. More on that in a bit. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank everybody that has messaged me on social media. Those people that have messaged on YouTube, on Twitter and Facebook Messenger from all around the world. I have had messages from the United States, Norway, mainland Europe and the UK, basically asking me if I'm alright and if I've recovered from my my little accident. And the answer is yes, I have. Thank you very much for asking. A little bit about what happened to me then. So I decided to take the bike out for an hour on a weekend, and I was going to head to Lake Vyrnwy, just over the Welsh border. Lake Vyrnwy is only about really an hour away. I wasn't taking it fast, I wasn't spanking the bike. I was travelling around about 60 on a country lane, pretty much similar to about the width of this. I hit a right-hand bend, a bit sharper than this. It was a more of a right-hander, but it didn't have any of the signs on it to say how sharp it was or that there was a bend there. Now, I obviously knew that there was a bend coming up, but I didn't realise how sharp it was, and I slowed my speed down, but not enough. And I tried to lean the bike over to get round the bend a lot quicker than what I should have done, and I tipped in too early into the bend. When I did that, there was a car coming round the other way and I had to straighten the bike up. I grabbed a lot of front brake, which stood the bike up, and obviously you know when you grab front brake you can't then turn. It was just one of those natural reactions that you do when there's a chance of you having an off. It was either that or I could have hit the car as I tipped in too early. Now, it was a narrow road. I do believe that the car coming round the bend was a little bit wider than what she should have been. However, the blame is not hers, the blame is mine for not you know, following the correct roadcraft, if you like. I then ran wide into the verge. I went over the handlebars and then bounced down the road. The bike was a write-off. It went into the hedge. If I'd have gone any faster, I'd have probably ended up in the field on the other side of the hedge. Yeah, so the bike, the Suzuki, was a write-off. Thankfully, I wasn't. So the lady stopped in the car. She'd realised what had happened, and she got out some blankets, and I went to lay down, and I couldn't because of the extreme pain from my ankle. And when I looked down at my ankle, it was pointing in the wrong direction. It wasn't broken, thankfully, it had just dislocated, which I found out when I went into the hospital, and he asked me to look the other way, and then he popped my ankle back into place. I did break my thumb. I had to have a wire put into my thumb, but thankfully that was all that was wrong with me. I did have to have an ambulance to come pick me up and drop me off at Shrewsbury Hospital, which the lady in the car phoned herself. So two of the paramedics come pick me up. One of them was a biker, and he was saying, you know, I might have to cut your leathers, and I'm going, please don't cut my leathers. He did cut my boot to try and get my foot out of my boot because it was hard to get out. So that was me, got to Shrewsbury Hospital, and then I was in there for about 2-3 days whilst I got patched up, had operation on my thumb, and they checked over my ankle. They were going to operate on my ankle, and then they realised it was just a dislocation, so thankfully that was alright. But I was non-weight bearing for about 8 weeks, so I was laid up on the sofa all over August and September on the sofa, which wasn't good for my mental health, I'd say, being stuck in. And if I'm honest, I wasn't going to go and get another bike. I think I was done with riding, really. It totally put me off. It wasn't a bad smash, but I just kept having flashbacks about the accident. I wouldn't call it PTSD, I think that's a bit harsh, but certainly, you know, having sort of flashbacks about the accident was off-putting, and I didn't want to get another bike. I didn't even watch YouTube and watch other bikers. I wasn't interested in reading biking magazines. I was totally off the idea. Then we got Christmas out of the way, and then it comes to January, and then I started watching my first sort of biking programs on YouTube and the like, reading biking magazines, and then I started getting a sort of wanderlust really for touring again. And then I started thinking about touring on a bike, and then I thought, do you know what, I really do sort of need to get back out on the bike really. My father-in-law said to me, you need to get another bike, you need to get back out on there, because if you leave it any longer, it'll only get worse, and you need to get back out on there. So he's to blame really for me getting another bike. No, he's not really, I'm messing. So then I started looking at, you know, what bike I'd get. So I wanted something that around about £4,000, but I also wanted something that was a bit more upright, because on the Suzuki I was suffering from shoulder pain when I was out for a couple of hours, and it was off-putting. It was okay for the first couple of days of touring, but when it started getting into the crux of touring for any length of time, I started to suffer really bad with the shoulder pain. So I wanted something more upright and more comfortable really for touring. So I started looking at the adventure style sport touring bikes. Now I had a big bugbear with these type of bikes. If you check out one of my videos called Is the Sport Tourer Dead? And I had a proper rant about, you know, you can't call these bikes sport tourers. Anyway, I didn't really want to get one of these. I wanted to get another sport tourer, so I was looking at VFR 800, Kawasaki Z1000 SX, and I popped into CMC and I saw the Yamaha Tracer. Now I saw the Yamaha Tracer, saw this sat in CMC, and it was going for £4,000 on a 66 plate, and it had traction control, ABS, good screen, gear indicator, integrated heated grips, and I just thought, you know, beside the luggage, I thought it was a decent enough bike. I like the wide bars, I like the upright style of it, I love the sound of the triple engine, I love it, yeah, I really like it. I like how it pulls, I like the torquiness of the engine, and the only downside that I was looking at was really this screen. It is horrendous on the motorway and the dual carriageway for wind noise and buffeting, as you can tell now on this video. So the first thing that has to go is this screen. Hopefully the sound quality on the video will improve, and I'm thinking about getting a shorty screen rather than a touring screen, and we'll see how we get on with a shorter screen on there. I'm thinking about the Puig Sport, also the MRA Sport screen on there as well. Yeah, so Yamaha Tracer 900, 2017 model, and yeah, I thought I would get the channel back up and running. It's been an absolute age since we've been out on the bike, so I thought I would take a little loop from my house in the Biker Road of Britain. So if you've got that book, Bikers Britain, this loop is in that bike, in that book. It's the loop from Shrewsbury or Minsterley and Pontisbury out to Clun via the Craven Arms. It should hit Telford and then back into Shrewsbury, but we'll cut it short and we'll do the A49 back up home. Couple of reasons really. Get back into the swing of things with regards to filming. Give you all an update on what's been happening with me. Introduce the new bike, and also get back out and enjoy this spring weather.